If you are new into African spirituality and you are confused, you don't know what to do, you don't know your left from your right, then this video is for you. As I reflect on my years as a practicing Christian, I recognize that spiritual warfare operated through highly reactive, urgent, and externalized energy. I relied on psalms and midnight warfare prayers like spiritual weapons because I felt constantly under attack. That system is designed for rapid deployment against an immediate energy or enemy. It often produced dramatic results because it functions through crisis-driven energy. Ordinani is different. It is not an emergency room. It is an ecosystem rooted in Mother Earth, lineage, balance, and natural laws. When I returned to the ways of my ancestors, my Chi and Indiotu stopped responding through quick fix warfare because their focus shifted toward building a lasting foundation. They had to unplug me from the high-stress energy of constant battle and ground me in a deeper, steadier form of power. For a long time, I wondered why things that I once manifested almost instantly through my words seemed to slow down after my initiation into Ordinary. Eventually, I realized that during my religious years, I was operating through the fire energy. It was sharp, immediate, and powerful, forceful as well. As an Ordinary practitioner, however, my words now carry a different weight. They have become less like lightning and more like deep water. If every word I spoke in anger or distress manifested immediately, I could unintentionally cause harm to my own destiny, relationships, or even my lineage. My Chi has placed a safeguard over my speech during this period of growth, teaching me to speak from alignment rather than panic, fear, or retaliation. It is not always easy, but I respect the wisdom behind that restraint. For years, I questioned why I once experienced such vivid, intimate communication with spirit. In those days, I often held real conversations with spiritual beings while driving alone. I would get guidance, ask questions, and receive responses. Those encounters helped me navigate some of the most difficult periods of my life. Then my awakening came, followed by my initiation. Much of that communication changed, and I mistakenly believed I had lost my gift. What I failed to understand was that the forces guiding me had never left me. During my Christian years, they communicated through symbols and identities I could recognize within my religious framework. What I called angels then are actually my Chi and my Indiotu appearing through imagery my mind could only understand. When I underwent initiation 6 years ago into Ordinary, those familiar masks came off. My spiritual team dismantled the old channels through which I received messages and began rebuilding an authentic indigenous system of communication. During that process, dream recall became less constant because I was learning an entirely new spiritual language, one no longer filtered through religious symbolism. Previously, my spiritual framework was Christian, so messages arrived through Christian imagery. My mind understood that language, making the connection feel immediate and effortless. Looking back now, I can see that my spiritual practice once resembled a sword and shield, quick, defensive, and battle-oriented. My Chi and Indiotu, however, no longer want me to live in perpetual warfare. They are moving me beyond a lifetime of midnight battles against my enemies and towards something greater. Through visions and personal revelations, I began to understand the message they were conveying. We are shifting you from a warrior who survives on adrenaline to a ruler who rests in authority. My abilities are not gone, they are only evolving. What once appeared as loud thunder is becoming the quiet, unwavering strength of the earth. I am moving beyond the pursuit of quick victories and into a season of stability. The gifts remain intact, only the operating system changed. One realization that transformed everything for me is this: the same spiritual forces that walked with me while I prayed with psalms and engaged in spiritual warfare are still present today in my life. The difference is that I now know them through their indigenous identities rather than through religious masks. I was winning battles, but the war itself never ended. Whenever I received spiritual insight in the past, my immediate instinct was retaliation. I was still operating within a warfare mindset that demanded constant reaction. Odinana has taught me something different. Fighting every battle is like playing whack-a-mole, right? One problem disappears and another emerges because the root cause remains untouched. Endless reaction traps a person in a cycle of exhaustion. When we react impulsively, we spend precious energy fighting battles our spiritual forces may have already claimed. Continued engagement keeps us tied to the very forces we seek to overcome. One of the most beautiful realizations from this journey is recognizing how deeply supported I always was. During the darkest period of my marriage crisis, my car became a sanctuary. My chi and Indio to sustain me through moments when I felt close to breaking. They guided me, protected me, and anchored me when everything around me seemed unstable. Today, I am deeply grateful for that support. It has helped me survive a difficult chapter and now allows me to use my experiences to encourage others navigating trauma, uncertainty, and personal transformation. Because of those experiences, it makes perfect sense that I sometimes miss the intimacy of those conversations. It felt like having trusted companions beside me, offering answers in real time. When that level of communication changed, it felt like silence, but silence is not abandonment. My spirit did not leave. The form of communication changed because my circumstances changed. When a child is in immediate danger, a mother does not whisper from another room. She rushes in, speaks loud, and stays close for support until the crisis passes. During my darkest moments, my spirit communicated with extraordinary clarity because I needed that level of intervention. Today, I am no longer living in that crisis. I have crossed a threshold through awakening and initiation because I am no longer operating from survival mode. The loudspeaker has been torn down. I am being taught to connect through deeper channels of alignment rather than through emergency communication. My initiation marked a profound shift in responsibility. I moved from being a passenger who needed constant instruction to becoming someone entrusted with authority. The guidance is still present, but it now arrives through intuition, inner knowing, discernment, and sudden flashes of understanding. Rather than speaking from outside of me, my spirit speaks through me. I have also learned that frustration can become interference. When I approach spirit from anger, disappointment, or expectation of hearing things exactly as I once did, I create noise that makes subtler forms of communication harder to perceive. My chi and Indiotu have never abandoned me. They upgraded the system because they elevated the responsibility that comes with my path. If you can relate to this experience of mine, know that your gifts are not diminishing. They are evolving to maturity. A master does not need to react to every challenge. A master trusts their foundation, remains grounded, and allows their spiritual support system to do its work. For many who transition from organized religion back into indigenous spirituality, this period can be frustrating, confusing, and painful. You expect your gifts to intensify immediately, yet instead they seem quieter, slower, or more subtle. Do not panic when you experience this. This phase is often part of the realignment process. Your spirits are working behind the scenes to establish deeper stability before granting greater responsibility. Trust the process, remain patient, stay open. I have walked this path myself and continue learning every day. Spirituality is an ongoing classroom. We learn, grow, and refine our understanding throughout our lives. If you are in this season of transition, trust that you are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. And thank you for taking the time to listen to my reflections. Until next time, God bless.